Okay, you can hear me. So here's what we're doing today. I have about 1 hour before the laundry is done, and I'm hoping that while that's happening, we can finish the LOLCODE to JavaScript compiler, because it's been dragging on for a little longer than I would have liked. And I think it's a fun project that I really want to get it done so I can write about it and wrap it up and, maybe start using the things I've learned there for something else. So let's see, documents, random coding, LOLCODE, Babel macro, git log, where were we? Remove support for initializing a loop variable. So I think we've kind of, if I remember correctly, we kind of strayed from the traditional definition of how this stuff is supposed to be working. And let's see, we kind of modify the definition of LOLCODE so that it's easier for us to build, because some things that work in LOLCODE don't quite work in JavaScript. And now I have to make sure that when we are compiling built-ins, that we're not relying on a magical global variable or something, and then we can go on and finish the rest of the stuff. Let's see, yarn test if let's see if currently all the tests are passing, because that makes it a lot more likely that the next stuff we touch is also going to pass. Cool. So we got a bunch of passing tests. Let's change this to React blah. And what else do I need? Where are we using standard lib? Let's see, standard lib. So this shouldn't just be lol standard lib. We need it to be scoped to LOLCODE itself, right? Yeah. So we're going to say LOLCODE.standardlib, and where we are exporting that, JSify, index.js, lol standardlib, macro.js. Here we are exporting it as module exports standard lib, lol standard lib. That becomes the standard library, which means no, not quite. What we want is to do this. Actually, yeah, no, that should work. We'll see if it works when we try using it. So we go back to our tests and we see that, no, that's the snapshot, macro test.js. We have loops, we have loop conditions. I guess this is already a loop condition, so we don't need a special test for that. What should a no-op compile as? What even is a no-op? Let's see, LOLCODE loops, no-op, no. I want to see what the no-op actually looks like so that I can write a test for it. AST, oh, never mind. Oh, never mind is what it's called. Okay, so we should just say, oh, never mind. And that should, no, that's the return. No op is here. Oh, never mind. So we run yarn test -t no op -u so that it updates our snapshots. Yarn test t no op, and it's going to say that oh, never mind is not implemented. Cool. So then we go back into our JSify.js, and we're going to build a no-op here. Literal loop condition, compile, no-op, takes a node and returns what? What is a no-op in JavaScript? It's kind of weird. We don't really use no-ops in JavaScript, do we? Also, I'm wondering if my chat room is working, because nobody's saying anything, and usually people at least say hi. So let's see. Is there anyone online here? There's one person online watching. It's probably me right now. Okay. Cool. I guess that's just not a very fun live code then. But I really want to get this done so that we can go on to doing more fun stuff. No op in JavaScript would be a function that doesn't do anything, right? JavaScript no op. P. What? Alright, we can just change it with a function that doesn't do anything, right? So we return our, or let's console log the nodes, because I'm curious what a no-op node looks like. Console log, let's see what the node looks like. Yeah, it's just name no-op, which means we are going to return this. So it's going to be a function that doesn't have any operation. Cool. Yeah, that's a no-op. Perfect. What's the next one? Hey fuzzy buddy, how are you doing today? Git commit -a-m add no-op support. Cool. What's the next one? Returns. What does a return do? I think that's probably for returning things from a function. Let's see. Where's my lol.json? Return. Return. Right. So that's gonna be harder. Let's see what the interpreter implementation does on a return. Return equals evaluate return. Self set special return vals done what? Evaluate return for a return type. Let's look. Maybe a function is gonna do that. Functions should have a return, right? Return. Come on. Returning value from a function. GTFO returns no value, which is similar to return null. If no other return statement is found, then if you say so is executed and the value in the it variable is returned. Oh, that's interesting. And found an expression returns the value of the expression when function block is executed completely. Okay, so returns could be difficult. So let's do a return null first. Return null, which is a GTFO. So we need to have a function. Let's see. How does I is yellow? Let's see, return null. How does I is yellow? And we say GTFO. So that should return null. Let's see. Git commit yarn test. Return null -u. Let's see. So that runs, and we get throw node not implemented break. Huh. Okay. So break. Let's instead say let's do just a normal return first. That makes sense. We do a normal return first that says found your number. Okay. Found your val, and let's say I has a val. It's is it it's yeah. I has a val. It's true. Found your val, and that should give me a what was I gonna say? That should create a function that returns the variable val. Oh. Well, apparently that already works. Did we already implement that? JSify return. What? Oh, we already implemented return. Nice. Okay, so we already got that. But fine. Oh, but we also need to return if you say so. Right. So that's a normal return. Then we also need the implicit return. So implicit return. I has a val, it is true. And then we say, how do I do assignment again? Assignment, I has a var r3. So let's see, loop, no, return implicit return, where are you? It are val, and if you say so needs to return true, return it, I think. Let's see what that does. So these implicit values that work in interpreted languages are much harder to do in Is that true? Is that really how LOLCODE is defined? Interpreted language. If you say so. A function is demarked with the opening block. Currently the number of arguments in a function returning. Found your expression returns the value of the expression. GTFO returns with no value, which is a noob. In the absence of any explicit break, when the end of the code block is reached, if you say so, the value in it is returned. What is LOLCODE used for? That is a great question. So LOLCODE is what you call an esoteric programming language, which means that it mostly exists as an exercise in existing and researching programming languages and having fun, but I don't think anybody uses it for anything, practical. So in that regard, this is not something practical I'm working on. It's just for fun to learn about languages and language design and stuff like that. So yeah, it's not actually used for anything, I don't think. It's more of an exercise in, can we make it and does it exist? Okay, so if you say so, needs to do what? Index.js, JSify, function call, function definition, this compile node body. Return, let's see, does return actually get called? No, return does not get called. So what we're gonna do here, we're going to say that we always return it. Maybe. That seems reasonable. Yeah. Okay. So we now know that functions are always going to, basically, if there's no other return statement, then we are going to return it. Otherwise, we return whatever the previous return statement is. Okay. Get status, get commit -m, implicitly return it from functions. Okay. Got that. Now, what's the next thing we need? Macro test.js, switch. Let's do breaks next. I don't think we have a break yet. So we can say break and error false. Code I can copy from here. Like that, and we're going to say it are val GTFO, and let's see what that does. Yarn test -t break that runs. Awesome, and it tells us that break is not implemented. So we go to JSify and let's do it up here somewhere because we can. Break equals node, and we say console log of node, and we return hello just so that we're returning something. We're testing it, and it's gonna tell us what actually goes into a break. Okay, so it's just a break. So break should be return null, right? Right. So we can say return null. That's what a break does. Or I wonder what happens, because we might want to use GTFO in a function. No, I mean not in a function, but yeah, here as well. Because we might have a switch statement, and we want the breaks to sometimes return null, or we want them to return, which is a problem. How do you make, because we are in a specific node called break, so we don't quite know whether this is happening in the scope of a function or in the scope of a case statement or a switch statement. So if we console log the node, it doesn't actually tell us what the parent is, does it? Even though that would be super useful. Yeah. How can we make a break work? Let me see, what happens if we break in a function? So we say, we go into a node, and we say const blah equals, oh, I don't know if you can actually see this. Let me move it up a little bit. So const blah equals this, and if we break, what happens? Syntax error, illegal break statement. So we are not allowed to do breaks just willy-nilly in functions. We're not going to use breaks for that because it doesn't make sense. So I'm going to remove this, or I'm going to console log it for now. Comment it out for now. So let's go on and build a switch statement. So our GTFO is going to be return break. Okay. Dot exit. Cool. So now let's go and implement a switch statement. Conditionals, if then, we built that already. Case. Okay, how do we build a case statement? Macro test. This is our switch, and we say what the fuck and OIC. Okay, so what the fuck, OMG, value literal. The lolcode keyword for switches is WTF, the W on it as being the expression value for comparison. Got it. The comparison block is opened by OMG and must be a literal, not an expression. A literal in this case excludes any yarn. Cool. So we're gonna need to have an it here, similarly as what we did for if statements. Where was that? It are both same 1 and 2. So hi, it are both same 1 and 2, or lolcode and lolcat, and then OMG true, OMG false, and OMG WTF. So we say visible is true, GTFO, visible nah, GTFO, and OMG WTF, visible trinary. because that would mean that it's neither true nor false. Cool, so now let's see how that compiles. It's gonna tell me that a bunch of stuff isn't implemented, so we're gonna be implementing it as this test runs. And then I think we're gonna be almost done already. Cool, not implemented switch. We go here, we add a switch, we have conditionals. Okay, if gimme visible blah 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 no op switch node, and we say implement lolcode switches operate on implicit it variable. Implementation quirk, you have to explicitly assign to it on previous line, and that's just because that's how JavaScript works, and we couldn't, or at least I couldn't figure out a way to do it without that, because it would be really hard to always assign the result of every expression to the it variable, even though, you know, I don't know how expressions work exactly, or rather it would be hard, but I'm sure it's possible. Maybe I'll ask the internet how to do it. We're going to return hello for now, and we're going to console log the node so we can see what exists. PRM test. Wow, this is the has it really been 45 minutes already? This is the fastest time I've ever seen. So we have the switch with a bunch of branches. Each branch has a condition and a body. Okay. So we are going to return this. So we're going to return switch on it, right, switch it, and then we go through the list of cases. Branches dot map this dot compile of each branch, and then we join them with new lines. Right, so now we're gonna get an error saying that case statements don't exist yet. Yeah. Okay, so switch branches map, because it's node.branches.map. We map each of them into the compile, into our own compile method. So it's basically what we're doing is a lot of recursion. Not implemented case, so we implement the case here. Case node blah, return hi, and console log of the node. And let's see, what does that say? What does each case node look like? Cool. So we have the condition, which uses an identifier, and body, which does a bunch of things. Cool. Which means we are returning case of this.compile node.condition. Then is that how do JavaScript switch statements work again? I always forget. JavaScript switch. There we go. W3 schools. Yeah. Case blah blah blah. So we need that, we have that column there, and here we say the body. This dot compile of node.body. Like that. Let's see if that works. It should work. At least in theory it should work. Case default is not implemented. So case default equals node return and the default just looks like this. So $this.compile node.body, and that should look the same. Let's see. Hello. Okay, cool. Aha. Case true. That's what I did wrong. So we're not using, we don't need this. And another problem we have is that we are redefining it, which could be a problem here. So case true, console log is true, case false, console log nah, and that should work. Okay, so we have, I wonder if it's a problem that we're redefining it inside. Hello, Burp. Yeah, he doesn't want to hang out with me. Because the way we've designed it is that body always gets a new, always defines a new it variable. But I guess that's fine here. Let's just leave it the way it is. Yeah. Our it variable doesn't exactly behave as it should as per LOLCODE spec, but should be fine. Git commit -m add support for switch statements. Git push origin LOLCODE. Oh, git push origin master. Cool. And now what is next? Macro test. So we have the switch. Okay. We can now make a test for. I guess we already made a test for that. So we don't need a special test for GTFO. Do we? No, we don't. Switch with break. Okay, so that should work. Built-ins, and I think we actually implemented everything. Let's double check if there's any nodes we don't have. So this is lol.js. Where are we? Okay. So if we go to JSify, let's see, we have assignment. Let's reorder them. We have break. Okay, that's not. So I think we have everything, to be honest. So I don't know what indexer does, but we have visible, we have switch, we have return, we have no op, loop condition, loop, literals, ifs, identifiers, gimmes, function definition, function call, declarations, cast, body, breakpoint, break, and assignment. So we have fully implemented LOLCODE. Hooray! Let's run all of the tests so that we update snapshots, which feels silly, but okay. One failed. What failed? Which test failed? lol standard lib.js uncovered lines. Okay, don't care. What failed? Ooh, 17 total tests, okay. Which one failed though? Aha. Aha. Reference parent path let it. Identifier it has already been declared. Bam, so that's what's wrong. we can't actually start a new it scope in a switch statement, which means we need to, when we are compiling here, we're going to take a second parameter that is called new it, starts with true. So we are also always defining a new it, this node new it, and in our switch statements here we're going to say false, and here we're going to say false. So now we're going to have the ability to either start or not start a new it scope when we are compiling stuff. Yeah. Okay, so and all of them are going to have to accept this parameter because they're all being called from the same place. I'm going to we can do it this way. So command F pop command F equals node blah. So all of those are going to get replaced with node new it blah, like that. So now they all have it. Yeah. And we go case doesn't need it, blah. Otherwise we're always, yep, new lines blah, let it, if new it, then we do this, otherwise we don't. Let's see if that works. Yay, everything passed now. See, and we no longer are defining new its in a body. Cool. Cool. We update our snapshots so that they match. Git commit -m, avoid starting new it scope in switch statements. Cool. Git status, git add source, git push origin master. Cool. So we have implemented all of LOLCODE, and it only took a couple of live codings. I guess the next step is trying to use this. How would I use this? Let's see. Yarn build. Setting options module, blah. Node resolve, LOLCODE Babel macro to dist. Okay, git status. And we can say package JSON version 1.0. And yeah, let's publish it on npm. So git commit -a-m, dist build, git push origin master. And if I say npm publish, it's going to, I'm going to need my phone for that. I'll have it here. Npm publish. Okay. Where's my authenticator? Where is npm? There we go. 146.722, and it's publishing. Bam. Cool. Okay. So what do we do next? It's published, and I'm gonna have to build a demo for it. What? Bam. Cool. Okay, so we got that. I'm gonna wait. No, we said we need to build an example for this. How do we do that? I'm not really sure. Kiwi, what kind of example should we build? Hi, how are your feet? Yeah, you got a pedicure? Was it a good pedicure? Alright. I'm gonna stop live coding now, and I'm going to figure out how to build an example for this and whatever some other time. Thanks everyone for watching, and I will see you again next time.